Crisis Report. It is January 14th, 2025. A lot of chaos out there. I guess I could call it the Chaos Report. But we're going to title it Chaos in Korea, because there was definitely some chaos there today. The president, or former president, I guess, I don't even know what's going on with all their political structure, was basically taken by the security forces. And yeah, a lot of craziness is going on. We're going to have a lot of reports on that at the end. The ceasefire thing, they supposedly all agree, but there hasn't been an official one. And to be honest with you, reading through it, it's not what Israel has for doctrine. It's not their doctrine. It honestly, some, I don't know. I don't. All right, so let me tell you what I think. Okay, I'm gonna start off. And the good news is, it's a super long-winded, like, this is all in it. So I put it at the very end of this report. I'm not going to read it because it would take a while to do. But I put it into the report. So if you want to get it and look at it, it's on Crisis Report. PrepperNow.substack.com, Crisis Report. I think what's going on is this. I think they're playing around and they're waiting for Trump to get in because they want to appease the Biden administration, because the Biden administration is basically withholding stuff and everything else, and they're playing along and they're going along to get along. But I think on Saturday, late Sunday, right when we're just about to have Orange Man bat in, I think the thing's going to crumble and the hammer's going to drop. I will be surprised. And it could happen. I will be surprised if Israel takes the ceasefire deal. I mean, it really is. Amir Sarfati is pissed. We'll just put it that way. He is not a happy Israeli today. And there's a lot of people like that. And they got to get it past Ben Gvir, and they got to get it past Smotrich, and I just don't, I don't know. I'd be surprised, because it really, I'll put to you this way, I said this over on PrepperNow, I was doing the transition to tragedy. All of the Islamic resistance telegrams are saying that basically this is akin to Israel surrendering. So, take that with what you will, all right? So let's get into it. This is your Crisis Report, January 14th, 2025. Here we go. Alerts to Tel Aviv, 3 a.m. after ballistic missile fire from Yemen for the second time in a row tonight. Following alerts issued in several areas of central Israel, several interception attempts were made at a missile launched from Yemen, apparently intercepted. So far, no reports of any crashes or casualties are received. The incident's ended. Imam Hasham al-Husseini, supporter of Iraqi Hezbollah, ties to Iran, scheduled to deliver a prayer at Trump's inauguration. What's this? Previously delivered the prayer at the Democratic National Convention. Okay. He attacked us, America, at that time, with words. He's got a history of supporting Hezbollah, Houthis, defending attacks on American ships in Yemen, and calling for the death of Saudis, whom he labeled agents of the JASE. Following the DNC speech, he refused to denounce Hezbollah during his appearance on Hannity and reportedly displayed a portrait of Hezbollah leader Nasrallah. Al-Husseini signed a letter encouraging holy jihad, praising Hezbollah's actions in southern Lebanon, and extending the call to America. He basically is not a fan, and he'll be praying at Trump's election, so we'll just let you chew on that one. Sky News poll against the backdrop of the Pakistani Muslim gangs turmoil and intervention of Elon Musk. The Reform Party of Nigel Farage is showing a record achievement with a quarter of the votes, only 1 point less than the ruling Labour Party. They are now more popular than the Conservatives. So, Ukraine launched a total of 200 drone strikes, 15 ATACMS missiles on various parts of Russia. Main attack areas were the Tula region, city of Kazan. Report in Poland, tanker identified as part of Russia's Ghost Fleet spotted moving suspiciously near an undersea pipeline in the heart of the Baltic Sea, carrying gas from Norway to Poland. Sources of the foreign ministry in Warsaw raised concerns that this was an attempt to sabotage a critical infrastructure facility. Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, held a tense meeting with Israel's Netanyahu on Saturday, urging him to accept compromises for a hostage deal by January 20th, according to two officials. The pressure seemed effective. Key gaps in the talks were reportedly bridged over the weekend. I don't know. Piece worth reading. So what's going on with President Trump? I'm not going to go into this whole thing. This is long, okay, as you can see. So I'm going to give you the conclusion. It says, in conclusion, cooperation with this regrettable deal might be necessary. It would be imperative to then aggressively pursue the recapture of released terrorists and dismantle Iran and its proxies, leveraging Trump's support for a more assertive Middle Eastern policy. What they're saying is they want to take the L on this one, and then once Trump is squarely in and they got their people secured, they're going to drop the hammer. We'll see. So, and this one is another analytical one that goes on about it. And again, we'll go to the end. It says, regarding the return of Gazans to North Gaza, this will be facilitated through quarters. Basically, was it talking about what this whole deal will entail? Okay. People of all ages, including those of combat age, will be allowed back. So there's an exchange. The Israelis are going to give like 1,027, something like that. Or just, like a lot of different prisoners for the 30 or so people that are left. Okay? They're going to leave Gaza. There's just all kinds of stuff that Israel would have never done before. So it's noteworthy that Israel feels pressured by Trump's administration to reach a deal before his inauguration. According to a source involved in the talks, Trump is eager to finalize a deal even before his inauguration, translating into pressure on Israel. I stand by my earlier thought. I think they're going to just do this in kind of about 24, 36 hours before Trump is inaugurated. They're going to just kind of let the clock run out, and then they're going to go crazy. Explosions continue to be heard in Bryansk, Russia. Air defense forces fight to down Ukraine missiles. 12 explosions have been heard in Bryansk. Ukrainian sources report a massive drone strike targeting Bryansk, Moscow, Tula, Smolensk, Kaluga, and Kursk regions of the Russian Federation, potentially involving Polynitsia strike drones. It was an oil depot located in Engels, Saratov region of Russia that was attacked by the Ukrainians. By the way, Russia is collapsing was trending on Twitter as all these douchebag lefties are out there saying that basically let's more war, and Russia's over. And no. This war is about to get more intense, and if you know the battlefield of what's going on, the Russians have chewed up more land and have done more in the last 6 months than they have in the last 2 or 3 years. Just saying. A network of the World Economic Forum, major companies, UN, banks want to force the global economy to become climate neutral. For years, companies were forced into submission, but now the undemocratic structure is collapsing. That would be wonderful. Hegseth replies that he is a Christian and that robustly supports the state of Israel and its existential defense. He also declared Jesus Christ Lord and Savior. Good for him. Firefighters are currently battling a new ignited wildfire in Los Angeles. Those just keep popping up. Lawsuits have been filed claiming utility company Southern California Ed sparked one of the 2 deadly wildfires burning in the Los Angeles area. Russia warns that Ukraine may cease to exist as a country in 2025. Some daunting words. Donald Trump is expected to appear at this year's World Economic Forum remotely via video conference. Representative David Rouser has introduced legislation to abolish the Department of Education. As a person that is affected by that department, that would be a great idea because it's unnecessary. States do education as laid out in the Constitution. Speaker Mike Johnson has removed Representative Thomas Massey from the Rules Committee because he's all butthurt he voted against him. TikTok calls report of possible sale to Elon Musk X pure fiction. A lot of people said that today. Military unit regarding the presidential residence has approved the entry of police and anti-corruption agencies officials into the presidential residence of detained and impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol, according to Yonhap. We're going to have a lot more here in a little bit. China's property giant Country Garden posted a $24.3 billion loss for 2023. It's bad. U.S. is going to ban smart cars containing Chinese tech. Panama Canal will remain Panamanian, according to the UN. Trump promised Netanyahu support for Israeli terror factions and new land grabs in the West Bank. Israel media claims that Trump promised Netanyahu he could break the Gaza ceasefire and restart the war after signing a deal. Additionally, Trump reportedly offered benefits such as lifting sanctions on Israel's Pegasus spyware, supporting Israel settlers and extremists, and allowing significant land grabs in the West Bank, according to Ynet. That seems more realistic, to be honest. Just sign it for 76 hours, whatever it is, and then break it and start dropping the hammer. U.S. is going to ban Chinese smart cars, finally effective Tuesday, barring Chinese technology taking aim at software and hardware from the world's second largest economy on national security risks. Woman interrupted Blinken's press conference. There was a bunch of idiot zombies out there screaming in the back row. Called him a bloody Blinken Secretary of G-Side regarding his support for the massacre of children in Gaza. Pete Hegseth says they support Ukraine, but the war needs to end. We'd like to see it as advantageous for the Ukrainians as possible, but that war needs to come to an end. Yes, it does. Incoming Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says, when President Trump chose me for his position, the primary charge he gave me was to bring the warrior culture back to the Department of Defense. He, like me, wants a Pentagon laser focused on lethality, meritocracy, warfighting, accountability, and readiness. I don't think I've heard those words in a sentence in 5 years. Lethality, meritocracy, warfighting, accountability, and readiness. Whoa. Take out the lethality and you can apply that to any business in America. Pete Hegseth, Trump's defense pick, says allowing LGBTQ troops to serve openly reflects the Marxist agenda in the U.S. military, and there should be a major crackdown on it. Incoming Secretary of Defense. That's the thing. Nobody cares. Like what you do. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Let's go back to don't ask, don't tell. Incoming Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says members of the military who were kicked out over not taking the Rona will be apologized to and reinstated with pay and rank. Good. Those are the people you want at the front. Current scene in front of the president's residence shows a rally in support of President Yoon. Now approaching 1 a.m. Korean time, wind chill of -9 Celsius. Crowds are gathering following reports that the CIO and police may attempt to forcibly arrest the president in a few hours. Participants are chanting, arrest Lee Jae-myung. Lee Jae-myung is the leader of China-friendly Democratic Party of Korea. That is the China group. Czech Republic finishes pipeline extension, ending reliance on Russian oil. Czech Republic no longer needs to import Russian oil following the completion of the expansion of the Transalpine Pipeline, or TAL, from Italy. Prime Minister Petr Fiala announced on Tuesday. Thank you, some random dude. Yes, I am an independent trying to do it. One person said, well, all you're doing here is just kind of, reading off the mic or whatever. Well, I do tabulate this stuff. I do take time. I do try to give some analysis. And I am coming from a place of history, so I could see that. But I am trying to give good, straightforward, no BS information, truncated into about a half hour, 45 minutes or so you can strap on your headphones and then, go on with your day. That's the goal. That's when I changed over to this kind of platform. That's what I was hoping for. Construction of this expansion has now been completed, Fiala told reporters. Russia can no longer blackmail us, and we have a guarantee that we can completely supply ourselves with oil from the West. Yonhap News reports that about 30 to 40 members of the parliament of the right-wing People's Party Power are expected to show up at the presidential residence in an attempt to stop the arrest. 4 a.m., the Corruption Investigation Office and the Special Investigation Unit are attempting to execute a second arrest warrant for Yoon, mobilizing 1,000 police officers. December inflation was 2.7%, accumulating a total of 117.8% in 2024, almost half what the previous government left, which was 211.4%. Milei cut Argentina's inflation by half in a year, despite not having a majority of Congress, Senate, and having a hostile bureaucratic system. Very impressive. Massive strike with UAVs on the oil depot in Ingles, Saratov. Overnight, strong fires on the compound. Thank you, some random dude. Yes, you are on the edge of a vast precipice, millimeters from the point of no return, seconds from a cavalcade of catastrophe, microseconds from having our poop pushed in. Be prepared. I agree. Poop part I'm not so much into, but yeah. Russian governors from Saratov and Kazan, all UAVs are down. Putin said so. There you go, we're good. North Korea DPRK, several ballistic missiles were fired toward the East Sea after flying 250 kilometers. South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff said the military detected several short-range ballistic missiles launched from the Kanji area of North Korea. So, yeah. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov, U.S. is giving the go-ahead for terror attacks against energy infrastructure. There are plans to destroy the Turkish Stream. That'd be bad. Russia, armed forces of Ukraine, struck overnight infrastructure of the Ingles 2 military airfield in the Saratov region. This was confirmed by the 14th separate UAV regiment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Copper India, thank you so much. Tu-95MS and Tu-160 aircraft, 22nd Heavy Bomber Air Division are based there. As a result of the damage on the territories of the Crystal Oil Depot, tanks with rare aviation fuel for Tu-160 bombers, which Russia uses to deter the civilian population of Ukraine, once again caught fire. 14th Separate Air Defense Regiment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported. U.S. intelligence official told Tucker Carlson the U.S. shot down a Chinese satellite responsible for coordination of suspect drones over ODYSEE. Vessel belonging to Russian Shadow Fleet circled over a section of the pipeline that carries Norwegian gas to Poland via the Baltic Sea. A source in the Polish Foreign Ministry and TVP World said, if the information is confirmed, the vessel's actions could raise concerns about the vulnerability of vital energy infrastructure running along the bottom of the Baltic to attack. Russia. Prices for technical equipment in Russia will skyrocket by a potential 35% this year, analysts say. Prices for devices and large equipment will rise sharply and in leaps and bounds. Makes it difficult for the poor to get informed. They don't have their little phone. An increased activity of NATO reconnaissance aircraft is currently being recorded in the area of Finland, where the first summit of the Baltic Allies, the alliance, is starting in Helsinki. Summit participants will discuss the protection of underwater communications and strengthening NATO forces' presence in the region. Germany will deploy Patriot air defense systems in Rzeszów, Poland, Bilby, and the end of January, which is not far from the Ukrainian border, through which supplies are supplied to the Ukrainian army. German Defense Minister Pistorius announced in Kiev. There is information that they plan to deploy 2 air defense missile systems and 200 German troops there. At the same time, Norwegian troops, NASAMS, and 4 F-35 fighters are already there. I haven't said the word NASAM in quite some time. NATO launches new patrol mission in the region to ensure infrastructure. Mission will involve frigates and patrol aircraft as well as small fleet, naval drones. Military will also deploy other advanced technologies. Mark Rutte noted that work will also be done with NATO allies to integrate their surveillance capabilities with those of the alliance. Russian presidential aide Patrushev said Ukraine will cease to exist in 2025. He further said that negotiations on Ukraine could only be held by the U.S. and Russia without participation of other Western countries. Highland Husky, thank you very much. By the way, that Babylon Bee thing you put onto my Telegram today was freaking hilarious. Operators claim that everything is working normally and the Russian net has collapsed for unknown reasons. Service for monitoring internet failures has started working. Judging by its data, Russians report a large number of outages of the popular services. Infrastructure of top-level domains .ru and .po, whatever the heck it is, and Russian DNS work without failures. Domain Coordination Center. Users in Russia complained about a large-scale failure of communications operations and websites. Bank payments were not working. Roskomnadzor. Comment to RT about the large-scale failure of RUNet. Short-term disruption in connectivity was detected. Network operation was promptly restored by the duty services of the Center for Monitoring and Control of the Public Communications Network. This was a disastrous failure because right in that moment, hackers got access to the center. AI-generated version of The Simpsons suggests that the internet will go down on January 16th. Lovely. U.S. begins to review global force postures in response to the growing competition with China and Russia. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has promised. In a joint operation by the IDF and Shin Bet, an Air Force aircraft recently attacked a terrorist cell in Jenin. The United States has removed Cuba from the list of state sponsors of terrorism. Okay. Former Iranian Foreign Minister, Vice President Mohammad Javad Zarif, revealed Israel allegedly planted explosives and centrifuge technology bought for Iran's nuclear program. Officials detected hidden explosives before installation, marking previously undisclosed sabotage attempt. Yep. Governor Ron DeSantis, all U.S. flags in Florida are going to be flown at full staff for President Trump's inauguration. The day is about Trump, not Jimmy Carter, he said. A recall effort against California Governor Gavin Newsom is underway for mismanagement of wildfires. Hamas has reportedly requested an extension to the deadline regarding the ongoing ceasefire talks. Request for extension is allegedly due to the Hamas leadership needing more time to examine ceasefire proposals prior to any potential agreements. Okay. Just so you understand where we are when the Biden administration, now with the Biden administration, we still have an arms embargo imposed on us in regards to specific bombs. They demand more humanitarian aid that goes directly to Hamas. They still hold 132 units of D9 bulldozers and the IDF needs, and they will threaten Israel with not violating a harsh United Nations Security Council resolution. Germany authorizes military to shoot down mysterious drones. A growing number have been spotted over critical infrastructure. They're giving local police ability to summon army for firepower. So, 8 dead in suspected Marburg attack or outbreak in Tanzania. Keep an eye on that one. SEC sues Elon Musk, alleging failure to properly disclose Twitter ownership. Hey, beautiful. You can afford the... Oh, my God, that poor guy. President Donald Trump has announced the formation of the External Revenue Service. I actually think this is a good idea. Set to launch January 20, a new agency will be responsible for collecting revenue from foreign sources. Landlords in fire-ravaged Los Angeles have jacked up rents, in some cases by more than double the price, of violation of California law against price gouging, and thousands of residents seek shelter. Representative Nancy Mace challenged Representative Jasmine Crockett to a fight after she called her a child. Wonderful. Earthquake felt in Richmond, Virginia. My parents lived there, and yes, they did feel it. So, it's real. CEO of Blackwater Worldwide Constellus PMC, Eric Prince, calls out the final act by the Biden administration regarding the Cuban regime. Biden removing Cuba from the terror list is stupid as the Biden removing the Houthis from the terror list, who now have shut off the Red Sea for maritime navigation for about a year. Biden team is so consistently wrong. They cannot be this stupid. They must be trying to ruin our republic. I agree with that. Cuba is the nexus of socialist rot throughout Latin America. Yonhap News agencies reports that additional bus barricades have been deployed to the entrance of the Hanam residence by the Presidential Security Service, where South Korea President Yoon Suk-yeol is residing. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken says Hezbollah has lost and is now a thing of the past, and its attacks have harmed the Lebanese and Israelis. Second execution of the arrest warrant for the impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol is now underway. 6,500 pro-Yoon protesters, right-wing lawmakers, have gathered outside of the official residence. Yeah, it's not enough. They got to go in and deal with it. But 3,000 officers have been deployed around the residence. Reported, real time it was reported. Clashes between protesters and police are now ongoing. Clashes had and a major standoff ongoing now outside the residence of the South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol. Corruption police attempt to enter his home in order to carry out an arrest warrant. Clashes and a major standoff ongoing now outside. Oh, that's doubler. Let's see. Sorry, I lost my place. Seoul police attempt to raid the Maibongsan Mountain trail near official residence. Cuban dictatorship has just announced the release of the 553 political prisoners after being removed from the list of countries sponsoring terror by the outgoing Biden administration. Look at all the wonderful things they're doing. Yonhap reports a deadline for the second arrest warrant, January 21st, day after Trump's inauguration. Noteworthy is that Yoon's party members are taking part of Trump's inauguration VIPs. Investigators of the Public Prosecutor's Office and the Office of have now broken past the main gate, and these are all reports. Passing the second barricade, Seoul police arrest teams are reported advancing toward the third barricade. And South Korea's Yonhap News is now reporting that the deputy chief of the Presidential Security Service, Kim Seong-hoon, has now been arrested by CIO forces as well. Mayor of LA, Karen Bass, says she does not regret taking a trip during the California fires. House passes a bill banning transgender athletes from women's sports. As of early 2025, U.S. is facing concerns over several emerging viruses, notably norovirus. Cases have risen by 91%, or 91, I guess just the number, by late December 2024, up from 69 in November. Additionally, a new strain of Rona 19 named XEC is spreading and may become dominant soon. Although GBDs remain effective against these things. Furthermore, the H5N1 has related alarms due to increased human infections linked to contact with infected animals. Don't do that. German authorities are expanding bomb shelter systems in response to increasing international threats, particularly from Russia. Currently, Germany has 579 shelters, primarily from World War II. So, what's going on in Ukraine? Well, they've carried out likely the largest drone and missile attack on Russian territory today. 100 drones, several Storm Shadow missiles, and ATACMS. It confirmed that the Russian forces have captured Neskuchnya. The Ukrainians' last remaining supply route is now also being attacked with FPV drones. According to Ukrainian sources, Russians have advanced close to Andriivka, northwest of Kharkov. Russians have also established physical control over western supply routes in the direction of Pokrovsk. Chasiv Yar, Russian forces are attacking the industrial area. Only a few buildings remain under the Ukrainian control. Russian Ministry of Defense reports the capture of the village of Terny. Okay. Cold War 2.0. Retribution is inevitable. The West has crossed the red line. Military summary and analysis for 2025. Congress gives their approval for Trump to negotiate the Denmark to acquire Greenland. New wildlife erupts in Los Angeles County, or wildfire, excuse me. Impeached South Korean President Yoon has been arrested over martial law attempt. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol's motorcade has arrived at the corruption investigation offices after being arrested. Presidential palace, according to negotiations to avoid an armed clash between soldiers of both sides. Los Angeles wildfires are projected to become the costliest natural disaster in U.S. history, with damage estimated at $275 billion. Oh, I think it's this one. Yep, that's the one. Full details, allegedly, of the upcoming ceasefire. So that's that right there. Okay, so yeah. South Korea's president in his motorcade. He arrived at the corruption investigation, so he's dealing with it. Los Angeles wildfires are projected to become the costliest, so that's not going anywhere. And now I've got your outline for what the ceasefire looks like. So it's right there. It's on the crisis report. It's long. It'll take me a while to read, as you can see. So we'll let you check that out if you want to. Other than that, folks, that's your crisis report for January 14th, 2025. Appreciate you being here. Check out Subscribe Star and Locals. Check out membership here. And thanks for being here. And we'll see you on the next.